she still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Sean Whaley is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and welcome to an early edition of Axe Cake Picks, November 28th, 2025. Kid, first off, happy Thanksgiving. How was your day?
Good, man. Today is, we talked about it last week, man. Can't get enough. Today is one of the biggest day in North Jersey football history. How many teams meeting up at MetLife for their state championship finals?
8 teams, 4 games, starting at 10 a.m., which is why we are doing it a little late. So no better time to spend your Black Friday watching some high school state championships, huh, kid?
Yeah, brother. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. This is just the best time of the year. Gearing up for, the Christmas season and everything, and then we'll be right into the new year.
How was the food? How was the football? All underdogs cashed yesterday.
Hey, I put my Lions choked at home, but I did once talk about other sports, ball sports and all. So I think I know a little thing or two. Fantasy team's doing pretty solid. So yeah.
To hear. Yeah. All right, kid. Well, we decided, I know UFC's on a break and they have 2 events left, but we figured we'd come and recap. Obviously, Dana White made some announcements, so we figured we'd come have an episode this week. Like a 20-30 minute episode. We'll recap and we'll look towards quarter 1 and the announcements that Dana White made yesterday.
Really interesting.
We will start in the Middle East, in Qatar, where I don't know what you have to do if you're Armin Sarukian, but man, this man just submitted Dan Hooker in the second round. He is the clear number 1 contender if you're not Dana White.
Making him wait.
But yeah, I guess there's no such thing as a meritocracy, but we'll get to that in a little. But man, Armin Sarukian, he continues to show he is undeniable.
Yeah, he's very skillful. He has levels, I think, that we still haven't really seen in the UFC, right? And I go back to, was it 302, right, when he fought Oliveira? And he got caught up in that guillotine, but bro did not give up. Even his pants were pulled down.
I think it was 300 or 301.
Might have been 300. Yeah. And bro's pants were pulled down, and he was in a deep guillotine. And the resilience to get out of that, I think speaks to his character, because this is a rich guy, right? We've been talking about it, and we know about it. A guy who has a lot of money, who's doing this for the love of the game, right? Doesn't necessarily need to do it to put food on the table, right? So what kind of person or what kind of character are you getting from that? What's the description for when everyone's looking? Character is when nobody's looking, right? So at the end of the day, you got a guy who's still working hard. He has all the talent in the world, all the skills to possibly be champion. But like you said, his merits aren't worth it. It's like he's paying the sins of his past, Everything he's done to this point, he should be deserving of such. And I think that fight would be massive and extremely skillful. But maybe it's a little selfish on the UFC part, because as I said right this morning, TKO buys and merges WWE and the UFC, and a little bit more storytelling centered than putting on the best fights is what carried the company. So yeah, I think you're seeing that we're going from quarter 4 into quarter 1, and they're going to want to keep champions. They're going to want to star build. And then for us as hardcore fans, we look at it like, you guys aren't getting us the best fights that we think should happen.
Oh, 100%. And, the notion that they're making the best fights, they're not.
Out the window now.
Next time,
let's bring the most viewership, the most money.
Yeah, it's a popularity contest at this point. Next time you're told the UFC makes the best fight, remember this, and we'll talk about it in a little. But Armin is ready. For him not to get a title shot and sue the guy. He had a title shot. He winded up getting hurt, had to pull out. But he comes back and wins 2 in a row, and he's still not next.
And good fights, too. Like, he did not look like he took a step back with the injuries lingering, or he, lost for that matter.
No, he's actually finishing guys, not like Hamzat, not like Kamaru Usman, not like all these guys that want to talk.
Even Islam.
Yeah, Islam.
In his title fight. So
it's ridiculous, but we'll get to it. But I think Armin should have been next. But, hey, he said he's going to just keep winning fights. It is what it is at this point. The company's just going to do what they think sells the most. But, I mean, I just think they don't like the guy.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's like They burned him once. He burned them once, and they're just holding on to grudges.
Yeah, but incredible. And for Dan Hooker, I don't think he takes a major step back.
You just know what you're getting from Dan Hooker. You know,
Yeah.
he threatens with his weapons, and he's got a chin. That's why Armin couldn't put him out. I think he was trying to, especially in that first. But he had to resort to path of least resistance, and we don't, blame fighters for doing so.
No.
You have something that's undeniable, and people know it's coming, and they can't stop it. I mean, you go for that. It's like Marshawn Lynch at the goal line. You hand that.
Yeah. And he's a very fun fight. He still sit at number 6. They didn't move him down with this loss, which I think is the right move. There's some very fun fights for Dan Hooker, but if he could win one or two more, it goes to, like you said, the storyline. It's a fun fight.
Hear me out. Bro can make a lot of money more with the UFC. I do believe the UFC. Now, looking at it, I've been looking at salaries and payouts, and obviously UFC is still now able to probably pay their fighters more than, say, the upcoming promotions we like. But Dan Hooker in, like, Karate Combat or Dirty Boxing would be fantastic. I think that skill would match his. Fantastic.
I just don't think they could pay what he deserves.
That's my point. Yeah, he's making over 100, maybe close to 200 now in his per appearance.
Yeah,
it's show money. That's not even win money. So it's a lot to pay these athletes. Especially
I've put the years in like Dan Hooker has. So yeah, to your point. Another guy who always says he's going to knock one out and winds up going to a decision. Ian Gary gets the unanimous decision win over Bilal Muhammad. Are we just not going to deduct eye pokes anymore?
They should have been a 10-8 off of losing points in the first round of that fight, bro.
And the second.
I think the major play would have been like even smashing the chalkiest of the chalk on the over or the fight going to decision here. You got two unfortunate decision fighters. They have the capability of getting their finishes, as we've seen personally. We've seen it in person for both those fighters in a co-main event slot, but it just doesn't seem to be their, forte. It seems that they want to be in kind of control, set a certain pace, and fight their fight than going for it. And I don't think that moves the needle. I as compared to what we've seen in the main event, this co-main event, you can argue that they don't deserve that next title shot. So you have a lot of other people in weight for welterweight. And I think with, the way it turned out, you could probably go that direction than below Muhammad or Ian Machado Gary.
For him to say he's next, which I do think we'll see. I really don't know at this point.
He's a like top, stick man, like CM Punk, you know what I'm saying? They could talk, but actions also back up, and then they speak louder than words. Yeah,
and I think the UFC wants guys with finishes to have the chief support or main event slot or get the title for Undisputed.
Looking at more 70% finishes than 70% decision wins.
Yeah, and if you look at his last 5 fights, decision win over Bilal Muhammad, decision win over Carlos Prates, decision loss against Shafkat, decision win against MVP, split decision win over Jeff Neal, decision win over Neil Magny. So I just named 6, 7 in a row. So and every time he says, I am going to finish him, never finishes him. So it's a tough guy, but I did think positive. He did stuff to takedowns. And he was better on the feet. He was the faster striker. He was the more technical striker. If you're Bilal, there are some very fun fights, but you do take a step back. Do you just go to Dagestan again and just go back to the roots and just be like, hey, what got me here? Just go to Dagestan, train with Islam for fucking 4 or 5 months, and then just come back a different man.
I'd call Bo Nickel and try to get on that RFA card this weekend.
Wow.
Try to wrestle a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But what do you think's next for Bilal? Because he does take a step back, but
we talked about it, right? Coming off of that loss, the guys that had the 170 matchups in 322, right? Mm-hmm. So you could have Bilal kind of be up for the feeding. I think, unfortunately, where he is in his career, that's what he set himself up for, losing the title, then losing to Ian Gary. He's kind of up for the chopping block. He could be at this point of a guy that's denying these up-and-comers. We've seen that time. Again, fighters may jump the line a little bit and not be ready for that level of fight, and Bilal will bring it to them. So I just think that right now he set himself up to be kind of on the chopping block.
Maybe a rematch with Sean Brady.
No. Yeah, they got to run new matchups as well. I think if after what they just announced, they're I think their ear is close to the ground. They're hearing the tremblings of the network, the fans, what they're saying, and you can't just give them what they want as well. You got to do what you want to do as a company too, because when they get too involved, you got to look also to the WWE, right? If they're doing everything that the fans are wanting, then you're not really going to maybe put the best product out. So the UFC does kind of have to stick to their guns. I can understand that side of the argument, but we can also see what it is. It's kind of cut and dry.
As for the welterweight championship, I think there's 4 people that should fight for the belt: Ian Machado Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Michael Morales, or Carlos Prates. Who would you give it to?
I have 2 undefeated guys, right? With Shavkat and Michael Morales. I would leave it up in the air between either one of those guys, in my opinion. Ian Machado Gary, no. And Prates, as much as he did look good, look what Ian Machado Gary did to him. So
yeah,
I think honestly, back in the line would be Prates, Ian Machado Gary ahead of him. I would, in all sunshine and rainbows, put Shavkat ahead of Michael Morales, but we don't know. We don't know what's going on with his injuries. So
yeah, so he did. He was on Arrow's show this week, and he said he'll be ready to come back in like February, March.
If that's the case, though, it would be hypocritical of the UFC to grant him a title shot when they're letting Arman sit on the bench after he come back from injury and had fight 2 times. You're going to have Shavkat come back off injury and get the title shot. I think Michael Morales deserves it.
Hart wants Michael Morales because he's young and he's very entertaining. My thing is, it's a very fun and interesting fight, though, if you put Shavkat, who I think could pose the most danger to Islam. Yeah.
We haven't seen nobody really take Morales down, but what happens when he gets there, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. So we'll see. We'll see if Islam even wants to fight during Ramadan, or maybe he'll wait towards after. So we'll see there, but yeah, very interesting, the welterweight division. Bilal takes a step back. Ian Machado puts himself right in the mix for the next title shot. Volkan Ozdemir puts out Menfield in the first round. I said, hey, if you could get out of the first round, you got a shot. You did not.
No, he chins people, bro. Volkan Ozdemir's got some serious power. You got to think, too, he's kind of a vet now. He's been fighting in the UFC for quite a while. He's had his title opportunity. So, and that's what I was going to say. You get your title shot, like if we go back a sec to Michael Morales, he may lose if he gets that nod in the title fight. There's a lot he can make up in ground after that loss, after a title fight loss. And I think for Ozdemir, after that title fight loss, there is all that ground he's been making up, and he's right there in it. If not, to me, I think he could be a top 5 light heavyweight challenger.
Yeah, he's sitting there at number 9. He could definitely get a top 5 fight next. Holy shit. Waldo Cortez Acosta, man.
Love
this
it.
guy.
Elvis Costa, shut up.
This guy is the pirate of the UFC. He just goes out there and he throws that triple-digit fastball at you.
100 at your head, bro.
You're not getting up, and we'll talk about it in a little, but he has a very big fight next. He wants to stay active. They announced the fight and said, listen, I still want to be on December 13th in 2 weeks. I said, this guy's nuts.
He said that even though he got the fight announced with Derek Lewis, right?
Yeah.
He wants to fight still before then?
Yeah, December 13th.
Oh, man, because, they set him up for the quarter 1 right next year.
Which is crazy, but, man, this guy, if he beats Derek Lewis,
look out.
He might be next.
Yeah, bro.
You beat a guy like Derek Lewis, but yeah, what more good things can you say about Waldo Cortez Acosta?
No, I'm just impressed. I think the company's impressed about him too. They like this guy stepping in on short notice and doing everything he needs to do. And man, just that touch of death. Leave. A touch of death, and also all over lie too. And I know we skipped that real quick, but these guys, the overhand shot, if you're gonna throw a punch, it seems where you want to hit is kind of air, to the back of the ear. And people are going out.
What about Corey Horiguchi? Man, what a performance. Gets the submission win. And what does he do? Calls out his fucking teammate. I love it. And honestly, whoever wins this or next week, all right. If Van wins, they run it back. I think because Alexander Pantoja has the credentials and the reign. But if Pantoja wins, you gotta run it. They need new blood.
Yeah, they could do Kyoji Horiguchi, man. I mean, he's talented, bro. And granted, he's coming back into UFC a little bit older, but with all the momentum in the world, not like some of the other Bellator PFL fighters that we've seen. Kyoji Horiguchi went to Risen, right? He went to Risen, and I mean, he's torn it up and he's done good. And I say, yeah, you could give. I mean, the fanship is there, right? You could give Kyoji Horiguchi as much as I spoke before. This guy coming into UFC. And then getting that W, getting that finish against Tiger Ulanbekov, where I saw a lot of tickets out there for Ulanbekov to get that third round submission. Wow. Kyoji Horiguchi turns around and gets his third round submission, and like you said, makes a statement for that title shot. So I would give it to him. I think it's a little different story than the other guys. We want fresh blood at 125, and there is some history, especially that they're teammates right now.
Yeah, so Armin does get the performance of the night. Waldo, Corey Horiguchi, and my boy making his UFC debut. Luke Riley gets the KO in the second round. We cashed there with the plus money price as well. Overall, oh, by the way, why do we keep fading Nicholas Dalby?
Oh my God.
He gets the split decision. And as the fight's going, I said, yo, he is alive.
I don't know why we didn't do that, bro. Man, we went against our own gut instinct. Bro, again. Cashing as a dog, bro. How can we ever deny it?
This man is a dog.
Izagakmaev had no UFC experience. How would he put money on a chalk? We got to see that. Anytime that happens, we got to stop each other and be like, hold on, chalk on a debut? No.
The Danish. I mean,
yeah, bro.
By the way, weirdly enough, I was looking at my ancestry thing yesterday with the family. 3% Danish. Hey. So why am I rooting against? Or not rooting against, but why am I not betting my Danish brother?
That's right.
There we Fucking go. Hey, brother.
What's the day? Is Hamlet Danish? I think Hamnet came out, the Shakespeare movie. But
I have no. You're talking to the wrong guy.
One of those stories is based in Denmark. So
okay,
one of William Shakespeare's stories.
But overall, kid, how did you do for UFC Qatar?
Average Joe. We hit on some plus money. We missed on some obvious kind of blatant lies with the odds, like that minus 300 we just discussed, but 6-6. I went 500 for UFC Qatar.
Yeah, 2-2, but I do end up a little up because I get the KO from Luke Riley. We get there with Armin Sarukian inside the distance. We lose with Bilal, and I took a shot on Alonzo Menfield. I thought he would be able to get out of the first, and then I thought, he might be live at plus 190, but yeah, Volkan Ozdemir has some serious power. So 2-2, but we were up for Qatar. That wasn't all that was on display over the weekend. No. Holy shit, Abdullah Mason defeats Sam Nooks via unanimous decision, 117, 111, 115, 113 times 2. Mason becomes world champion at just 21 years old. I thought that was the fight of the night, kid. It was amazing.
Yeah, Sam Nooks is no joke, man. I came in there looking at like this is a spot that Sam Nooks can kind of upset with the inexperience of Abdullah Mason, but the fact that these kids have been fighting for so long, you think that you got to give them granted that they have all the experience in the world, right? Gold glove boxing, maybe even to Olympic trials, and some get the nod into the Olympic reigns. But yeah, Abdullah Mason, like a lot of these upcoming fighters, are probably next in line. I mean, for everything, for the glory, for the name, for the commissions and the promotions to back them. And that was just a big victory for his career.
Yeah, 100%. Our boy, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, KOs Fernando Martinez in the 10th round to unify the WBA, WBC, WBO, and Ring Magazine Super Flyweight title. If he's not in your top 10, you're not watching boxing, my boy. He is legit.
Yeah, you can. In my list, I'd swap him for Tank. Obviously, I without all the gave him the benefit of the doubt, Tank Davis, but throw that man off to the side and put Bam Rodriguez up in the top 10.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, this whole card was fantastic. Hand up, I was wrong. I'm not the biggest Devin Haney fan.
Nor I.
I think people, I'm talking to myself, need to put respect on his name. 3-weight world champion at the age of 27. And it was a masterclass. He dominated Brian Norman Jr. He becomes the new WBO welterweight champion of the world. He dropped him. And
was it only in the 12th? Or I think he dropped him earlier too, didn't he?
I thought he dropped him earlier, but he definitely dropped him in the 12th. And Devin Haney, he proved why, he is a class above Brian Norman Jr.
Yeah, and that's what I saw. I like Brian Norman Jr.'s credentials, and he was the champion coming into the fight. But look what Devin Haney's done, right? He also got to speak to Ryan Garcia, right? If Ryan Garcia was able to dismantle Devin Haney, how high a level of he is when his next fight comes about. So, yeah, I just saw that. I saw Devin Haney's capability in this one, and I think going forward, it can make for some good fights. Devin Haney as champion.
Yeah, 100%. We'll see what happens. And then obviously the main event, David Benavidez, incredible performance. He produces basically another beatdown of Anthony Yarde. He retains the WBC world title.
That's what it is.
It was a masterclass.
Yeah, he beats down people, bro. It's just repetitive thudding shots. He hits on all sides of the body and in the head. And David Benavidez is just a nightmare fuel for a lot of boxers coming in to fight.
Yeah, so 3-1 in those 4. I took a shot on on Brian Norman, the favorite, mind you, and the dog, David Haney. He proved me wrong. But how did you do for the ring?
Yeah, 2-2.
Okay.
You know, we went there with David Benavidez getting the KO. So little chalk on that, surprisingly. Devin Haney, though, hit the dog there, so it kind of made up for my 2 losses. I took a shot with Sam Noakes, and I had Bam Rodriguez winning by decision, something that he doesn't really get to. So I took a chance with that plus money there, but he got the finish.
In the 10th round. Average. All week average, huh?
500 average Joe.
Average Joe. I love it.
Hall of Fame in baseball.
Let's look ahead, but before we do that, a quick word from our sponsor. We're brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavored tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or an elderberry watching St. Joe's upset Don Bosco. It doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. Kid, what do you put the odds at, though, for Bosco Joe's tonight? 7 o'clock under the lights.
I hate to say it, but Don Bosco, if you put the books out, he's probably a -300 favorite.
Wow, that big, huh?
Yeah, undefeated, number 25 in the country. The history of Joe's against Bosco isn't that well, even though it's a big deep-seated rivalry. I think Bosco has gotten the all-time record on Joe's. Back in the day, St. Joe's was in Section A, but then they had to take a step back because the amount of attendance, amount of people that are able to get into the school. But after that little lull in school's history, they've made a complete comeback, and they're back in Section A, non-public Section A for the New Jersey State Championship. And wouldn't you know, it's against Don Bosco. Of all the schools, Bosco Joe's, I said it, I tweeted about it, the history that they had, that they would always play on Thanksgiving weekend. It happened even during the playoffs. They could be in the middle of a playoff race, either team, because remember, it was Section A and Section B, and they still have to play on Thanksgiving weekend. You know, rescheduling these, seasons have made it basically impossible for that to happen, but fate would have it that Joe's is going to play Bosco tonight, Thanksgiving weekend on Black Friday. And I think it's going to be for all the marbles. Biggest game in St. Joe's history, I think, by far, because if you get a win against this undefeated Bosco team, I think it just puts you ahead of every other school here in the state. So if Bosco wins
up there in Montvale,
these guys would be absolute legend. Coach Augie Hoffman, my coach, would be an absolute legend. Former NFL player, New Orleans Saints, Boston College alum.
Is he in the New Jersey Hall of Fame?
I don't necessarily know, but with a win over this team, he should be.
He should be.
You know?
I was gonna say,
and he puts that program on the map. And like I was saying, unfortunately, if you look at it as let's call a spade a spade. If Bosco wins, it's kind of par for the course. That's why I'm saying that this is the biggest game in St. Joseph's history.
Yeah, hopefully the McCourty brothers are there watching.
Gotta be.
And watching above and guiding us for a win. I am rooting for St. Joe's, the legend Deacon Joe.
That's
he
right.
is
The best.
who created Don Bosco Tech.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolute legend.
Deacon Joe.
All right, kid. Let's look ahead towards the 2 cards left in the year. We have 323 next week at the T-Mobile Arena, December 6th. Main card is good. You got 2 title fights. Merab Dvalishvili taking on Piotr Yan. and Pantoja versus Joshua Van. Then you got a flyweight bout against Moreno and thank you very much, Tesura Taira. That's a great fight. You got Triple C's taking on Peyton Talbot. Big step up for Peyton Talbot.
Yeah.
And then opening the pay-per-view is a light heavyweight bout between the Polish power Jan Blachowicz making his return against Bogdan Guskov.
They love that guy.
They do. But I actually like the prelims. You got Grant Dawson, Manuel Torres, Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan.
That's a banger.
Karina Silva taking on Macy Barber. Nazim Sadikov taking on Fares Ziam.
I think we agree that might be fight of the night.
Yeah. You got early prelims. The Italian Stallion taking on Bruno Ferreira. Edson Barbosa versus Jalen Turner coming out of retirement.
Wow.
This is a really good card.
Yeah, dude.
Out of the main event in the first 5, what would be your favorite fight?
In the main card?
Yes.
I'm not really, I understand maybe why they like Guskov. They're trying to hype up Peyton Talbot. I think it's interesting to see Moreno Taira. And as much as the main event is what it is, I think maybe the co-main. See if Joshua Van can, because I think where you can get Pantoja, it's not going to be on the ground. I think is wrestling and jiu-jitsu is just the way he hold those 125ers down. I think he's stronger than most people in that weight class too. It's not a size thing. It's just a repetition thing. And I think Pantoja has had so many reps on the grappling that it's just second nature to him. But the place you see where Josh Van can win the fight is on the feet. Josh Van's standings boxing is probably some of the best in the UFC. I think you can make a list of the top 10 best boxers, and he would be on that list. So Josh Van, we're going to see if he could stop that ground and if he could keep it on the feet because, I would argue that this is probably the most exciting, interesting fight of the main card.
Yeah, I would agree. I like the main event, but I think Merab is going to win again. He's already beat Piotr Jan. I like the Tesura Taira versus Brandon Moreno fight. I think that could be very interesting. The odds indicate Tesura Taira -118, Brandon Moreno underdog -102. Wow. I don't care about the Peyton Talbot Henry Cejudo fight, if I'm being honest.
It's a filler fight for me.
Yeah. I like Jan Blachowicz. I hope he does win. He's a short favorite at -120, but Bogdan Guskov
is explosive, bro.
He is explosive. Dangerous. But I agree. It's the chief support.
Moreno at plus money, though, is interesting. What were you going to ask me? Guess the line?
Yeah, for the chief support.
Pantoja is going to be the favorite. Are they going to give him a $2 favorite? I would agree. -225, Alexandre Pantoja. +180, Josh Van.
Joey, in the history of the show, that is the closest you've ever been. -225 Pantoja, +190.
Oh my God!
Holy shit! I was about to say, is he looking at the lines?
No, I'll show you my screen. I'll share it.
Yeah, no, literally, I believe you. But holy shit! And I think you said it on the feet. Joshua Van could pose some troubles, but he's just a dog. He's gonna walk towards you, and he's eventually gonna take you down. And when he walks out to many man, I think it goes from -200 to -500.
It gets chills, bro. Yeah, exactly. The live bets start flowing.
Holy shit! When anybody walks out to many man, my fucking blood starts pumping.
That's his song now, bro. I don't think anyone else can take that now. It's like the boss for Dustin Poirier. Nobody can use that walkout. What
about the prelims starting at 8:00? Now I do like the first fight of the prelims. Nazim Sadikov taking on Fares Ziam, but Macy Barber, Karine Silva, Terrence McKinney, Chris Duncan is fireworks.
I like that. That's a banger. But I think you see Grant Dawson and Manuel Torres.
Yeah.
Once again, another clash of styles. Grant Dawson, obviously, he's going to take you down. Emmanuel Torres is going to want to knock you out. So we'll see who gets their way there. I think the fight of the night, obviously, for Ziam and Nazim Sadikov.
Woo.
We can go down, though. And it's interesting to see, the first fight they're throwing on, Naimov against Myron Santos. Is Santos going to be legit? I think that's a test, because if you can't beat Naimov, then it might not.
Who do you think the favorite is?
Hold for much. In that first one?
Yeah.
I actually think that they'll give Myron Santos the favorite.
Yeah, -240, +205.
But I still feel like Naimov has fought some good competition, so it's a test for Myron Santos. He's getting the odds, and he's kind of getting the due diligence of the UFC to set him up with certain matchmakers. I also look at the Ibo Aslan versus Iwan Borisetsky. That fight looks like nobody's making it out of the first round, right? Ibn Aslam's a one-trick pony. He's going to try to go in and knock you out, or it seems that he's going to gas himself out and be susceptible to get finished any which way. So I think you could expect some early finishes in that card. I would probably say I'm most excited for, no lie, I know I see Terrence McKinney and Chris Duncan, but I'll go Fares Ziam and Nazim Musada.
Yeah, I was going to say it's either that fight or, honestly, even the Edson Barbosa versus Jalen Turner.
That's a banger, bro.
Future Hall of Famer coming out and fighting a guy that just retired and said, I have a lot of gas tank left, so we'll see.
And it's like an older guy, and Edson Barbosa's obviously all the fights he's been through, to not take any time off, not have any ring rust, continually staying active. As to Jalen Turner, taking the time he needed and coming back, I think that bodes for an interesting situation. In my opinion, I kind of fear for Edson Barbosa. I think you don't lose too much. I think I do agree with Dominic Cruz. I think you don't lose too much coming off of the couch. Jalen Turner, he's been working. He's staying in shape. And now he gets this call. I think that time off helped him a lot. I think he's going to come in pretty ferocious. I think he might get a finish on Edson Barbosa, which is crazy. Nobody really finishes Edson Barbosa. But that's how much talent I think Jalen Turner has and how much of a shock it was when he retired on us.
And then the last card at the Apex, December 13th, 2025. Headline in the flyweight, number 3, Brandon Royval taking on number 6, Manel Cap. Got the chief support in the featherweight division, Giga Jacasey versus Kevin Viejos. Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Marcus Buchecha. Amanda Lemos taking on Jillian Robertson. You got some pretty...
Bro, I low-key like this card more than the pay-per-view.
Really?
Low-key.
There's only like 5-6 fights.
You got Mikhail's brother, Cesar Alexiejczyk on it. Jamie Lynn Horton, Teresa Bleda. 2 big chicks in there, mixing it up. Luana Santos and Marissa Croden fight's good. There's some good women's fights. Buchecha, right? We could see if he can actually, get a win in the UFC. We had all the hype on him on his debut, and bro lost, dropped the ball. That Mel Costa and Morgan Charest fight's banger. Neil Magny. Neil Magny? Oh my God, he has to fight Yaroslav Amosov?
Yep. That was just announced a couple days ago. Yeah, I was just going to say that Yaroslav Amosov is taking on the ultimate test, Neil Magny.
Neil Magny, death taxes, and Neil Magny by decision.
So that fight to go to decision. They're taking a big jump break, too.
Yeah, I think too.
January 24th is the first Paramount.
But they hit it right back to back.
Yeah, they do hit it back to back. And that's what Dana White announced at halftime of the Chiefs and Cowboys game. January 24th, 3:24 in Vegas at the T-Mobile Center for their interim title lightweight championship. Justin Gaethje versus Patty Pimblin. Ilya came out and said, you know what, he needs handle some things in his personal life. He won't be ready. Did not want to put the division on hold, which I didn't even think they need an interim. Just have these 2 fight. We'll get to that in a sec.
I think their names are big enough. They don't need the championship attached to their name.
It's not even a big fight. It's just like a cool, fun fight in my opinion. But whatever. I got so many questions, but the card is good. It's a very good card. I just think the placement is wrong. Coming out of retirement, Amanda Nunes taking on Kayla Harrison.
That's the main
chief support. I was just gonna say. We got Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong, which should be a very fun fight in the bantamweight division. We talked about it earlier. Waldo Cortez Acosta gets his wish, gets Derek Lewis. Arnold Allen versus Lord Silva is a great fight too. Alexa Grasso taking on Rose Namajunas.
That I like a lot.
Umar taking on Davison Figueroa. That fight is very fun. Nikita Krylov taking on
Modestas Bukakas. Yeah,
exactly. So very fun fights. Damn. Joe, I want to ask you. You've obviously watched the UFC more. When did undisputed not mean anything, and you put an interim title above that?
I blame Khabib. I think when and Connor too. I blame both of them. They were such big stars that you couldn't, they rightfully earned their spots, right? And while Khabib was coming up, Connor had the belt and never defended it, right? And then Khabib gets it from someone else, right? And then he goes on a hiatus, and that's where you get Tony Ferguson getting the interim belt, and then you get they're supposed to have a matchup, and then that matchup never happened. And then from there, you have all these strings of interim champs. And there have been interim champs in the past. There certainly have, but it's kind of like it's gotten to a point, right? It's a little too much. I think
the interim belt is the BMF belt.
We're being force-fed interims. Yeah, BMF is interesting. That's sort of, I think we can both say that's kind of gimmicky, right?
Just like the interim to me.
But yeah, so is the interim. Yeah, that's fair. I don't necessarily say the BMF is like the interim, but it doesn't make sense, like you said, when you have an undisputed champion ready to defend, you have a number one contender as well. What are you going to do? You're going to have an interim championship, and then you're going to actually have the champion defend against Armin. Like, they could slow-key backdoor us with that. And then you're going to have a null and void IC champion, right? Because you're going to have an undisputed champion fight when they had an IC champion just to fill the void, right? That's what it is. I think also the interim championship come about when you had champions that were injured and you didn't want to. The UFC is listening too much to the fans. I actually go back to that. I think like they can never get it right. We're so fickle to the point that we argue this, that Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes got to be the main event. We say that now that we see it, but if it was the other way around, we're like, why are you putting the women in the main event? There's nothing that
because it's undisputed.
No, but
there's a storyline.
There's always going to be people that are going to be contrarians and going to argue and going to complain. So you don't listen to those people.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
I do. I'm with you, though. I agree that Kayla Harrison being probably one of the biggest women's champion in the last 10 years, going against the one who was the biggest champion prior to that, Amanda Nunes, coming out of retirement, the GOAT, we argue.
Yeah, who the UFC called the GOAT.
Yeah, and we had that kind of menage a trois between these two, and
yeah, you have the storyline, you have the AT&T stuff.
Yes, and Cyborg was thrown into the mix. It was like, Cyborg's never going to fight Harrison. Harrison's never going to fight Cyborg. Amanda Nunes is in the UFC. They're never going to fight none of this. And now we're getting Harrison and Amanda Nunes, and I think it could kind of let you see where Chris Cyborg stood and all that, because we know Amanda Nunes finished her. So that's what put her down as the GOAT.
If I'm Amanda Nunes or Kayla Harrison, yes, you're getting paid a lot of money. You're in the UFC.
But undisputed compared to interim.
I'm slightly offended.
Yeah. I'm not coming out of retirement.
Yeah, I'm like, I am the main event for for these guys?
My theory,
I wouldn't be mad if Patty was like, if he was scheduled to fight Ilya and he just couldn't because of personal matters, which, hey, gotta take care of your family. I hope everything turns out well. But if I just don't understand it. I really don't. It's interim. That means nothing. And Dana White came out and said the winner's going to verse Ilya. So what happens to Armin?
Nothing. It's just sickening.
So that's what I was saying earlier. The next time the UFC is telling you they're making the best fights, remember this.
Yeah.
They made Justin Gaethje and Patty Pimblin instead when Armin was ready. They made Volk and Diego, who we just saw, when you have two clear contenders who are on 9 and 10 fight win streaks in Mozart and Laurent.
Yep. I don't know what the hell is going on.
I don't get it. The rest of the card is amazing. I just think the placement. It's a fun fight. Like, I don't mind Justin Gaethje, and credit him. He doesn't have to retire now. But him and Patty Pimblin should be the chief support. 5-round, and the winner of that has to verse Armin.
You want to hear my hot take? Was that neither of them are going to make it to fight night. Justin Gaethje and Patty Pimblin, some bullshit's going to happen that they're going to pull out. Who knows? With how eye pokes are taking over the sport, who knows? We get that fight and they're going to be fouled out in the first round, right?
Now, do they call Armin?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can call Armin if one of those guys drop out, but who's to say that one of those guys say, I'm not fighting him? So my theory was that, boom, your actual main event is Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes, because that fight won't actually happen, and then the co-main will be Sean O'Malley, even though I don't think he deserves a co-main event slot.
No,
I think you actually should give it to, like, Arnold Allen and John Silva. I mean, hell, even Waldo Cortez, Acosta, and Derek Lewis should be a co-main event. Hell, they could be the main event.
Yeah, so I don't know. If I'm Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes, I am
livid.
I'm
not getting off my couch to go and train and take years off my life to take second fiddle to an interim. Like, yeah, right.
For these two guys, for Patty Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, who have never holded undisputed. Both of these
has been and maybe will not be. You know what I'm saying?
Kayla Harrison is an Olympic fucking champion.
Yeah, she's like probably the most important champion in the UFC right now because of her. Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. And American champ.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, honestly. Oh man, it's
I agree.
insane.
I think a lot of us can go on to that. I bet you would have about an 80-20 vote of people saying and agreeing that should be the main event and not the other way around.
Hopefully it gets turned around because it's ridiculous. But yeah, I like the Sean O'Malley fight. What the two fights that really caught my eye, what I think are going to be really fun barn burners: Arnold Allen, Lord Silva. 100%. And Alexa Grasso versus Rose Namajunas. I think that is stylistically a very fun fight.
I'm thinking both are going to hurt one another in that one because you look at their knockdown percentages. I think they're pretty actually high there for 125. Alexa Grasso and Rose Namajunas put combos together. I think Alexa Grasso may have a little edge in the wrestling because you've seen Rose. She has jiu-jitsu, but I mean, she got slammed on her head to lose the title, right? So obviously the X factor could be
that was years ago.
Yeah, and that could have been a fluke, right? But then she loses it again, right? Wait, he's on. But I'd say that this is a barn burner fight. Rose Namajunas, Alexa Grasso, man.
And by the way, Dana White keeps pronouncing her name wrong no matter how many times she becomes champion.
Who?
Dana White. And you got Rose Namajunas. Hey, I'm not the best at pronouncing names, but it's ridiculous.
But
what do you think the main event odds are?
Main event odds. I would say though, like real quick on that flyweight matchup. Do you say it's probably close to a number one contenders fight, or like it needs one more fight with Alexa Grasso and Rose?
With Alexa Grasso and Rose, I think if Rose beats Alexa Grasso, she won more.
But Alexa Grasso wins.
She was just there. She's lost to the top
I think they
girls.
both need one more. This is just a very fun fight.
Yeah, very fun fight.
Odds? Yeah, Gaethje and Pimblett. Gaethje and Pimblett. Based. I know people hate Patty, but I just don't think the books are gonna make him the favorite. I would say minus 150 Patty, plus 135 Justin Gaethje.
215 Patty, plus 185 Justin Gaethje.
I don't know if it, like how you asked me the odds before makes more sense, right? Who was the odds on before that I got pretty good? Pantoja and Van. That makes sense. You have a dominant defending champion who should be a $2 favorite. Patty Pimblett should not be a $2 favorite against Justin Gaethje. I don't care what you say.
What about who the UFC called the GOAT, Amanda Nunes, coming out of retirement, taking on Kayla Harrison? Who is the favorite?
I'll pick them.
Minus 155 Kayla Harrison, plus 135 Amanda Nunes.
That's what I said for the main event is for the co-main, but I go out as a pick 'em in that one. Me personally.
Sean O'Malley minus 185, plus 160 Song Yadong. Waldo Cortez.
My bad. The plus money you're getting out of the previous fight. I'm drawing a blank. I like Song Yadong getting plus money there. I like that. My bad.
Waldo Cortez Acosta minus 205, plus 175. The big black beast.
Oh my god, bro.
I love
it.
And then Lord Silva minus 195 coming off that loss. Arnold Allen plus 170. We're getting some dogs, kid.
I like that money there for him.
All right, and then he did go on IG Live and announced 325 the next week in Sydney, Australia. Oh, by the way, I think the biggest news, new start time, 9 p.m. Thank God for main event, main card will go down at 9 o'clock, starting at 3:24. But 3:25 the next week, January 31st. No, not the next week. They're going back to back. 3:25, Volkanovski, Diego Lopez 2.
They got to start cooking that card up.
Even Volkanovski, his coach came out and said they were very surprised the UFC gave him Diego Lopez because both of them, Volkanovski's coach and Volk, came out and said Lerone and Mosfar are more deserving. Which, what more do they have to do?
Yeah, it's like we were sick and tired of seeing them run it back. And was John Silva that close to getting a title shot that after a win against him, you're going to get it right back? Like, We just saw what happened the first time they fought. I don't think one fight past that Diego Lopez has evolved, right, that much. Like we not that he's a bad fighter by any stretch. Diego Lopez is a great fighter, explosive, great jiu-jitsu, aggressive, everything you'd want. But man, one fight removed from losing a decision to Alexander Volkanovski and one you almost got dominated in, you may have had some moments, but I just think not enough time has passed and not enough fights have passed. And yeah, once again, it goes back to my sentiment that maybe the UFC is protecting their champions, which they should not be. Your champions are your champions for a reason. They themselves fought to get to the top, fighting the best of the best, and they've earned their stripes. And for now, to protect them and not give them the fights that we think necessarily should be happening, you can see I have a kind of a catch-22 because my other side of the brain says, don't listen to us, right? But it comes to a point where you look at Volkanovski and what he's done, and you want him to fight a lot of different opponents. But then again, like I said, you're protecting Volkanovski as champion. We all love him as champion. And getting this, fight back, he very well could win and retain and continue on from there and keep growing the sport. So, I mean, but what also grows the sport is organically things occurring, right? Letting, the deserving get their shot and see if they win. Who knows what LaRon Murphy can do for, England and everything that has happened to him. Who knows what could happen to any of these guys trying to get to the title, what they could do for their region of the world. So do better, UFC.
Meritocracy doesn't mean a thing anymore.
It should mean everything.
Diego Lopez plus 145, Alexander Volkanovski minus 170.
Yeah, pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, but that's about it. That's all that was announced. Like you said, no 10 seconds left. Taking the week off. Hey, we lost last week, right?
Tenshin Nasukawa, not it. Takuma anyways,
legit.
A lot better. But I've seen a couple fights. You got PFL coming up in December. You're going to have some other boxing fight. I think Naoya Inoue will defend his title in December. So, December's cooking up to have some things right before we end the quarter. So quarter 4 is going to be hot, and we'll go right into quarter 1 of 2026.
Yeah, if you're not doing anything, I know it's rivalry weekend, not just in high school football, but in college. We got the game going on tomorrow. But if you don't have anything to watch Saturday, November 29th in Chicago, Illinois, 8 p.m. on Fox, you do have Real American Freestyle Wrestling 3, headlined by Chad Mendez and Michael Chandler. Who else is on? Clay Guida.
Bro, there's going to be a lot of scrambling, shooting from across the
Clay Guida's on the card. Joaquin Buckley is on the card as well.
Hey, that's fun, yo.
Yeah.
So that's smart decision-making, putting them up against nothing when there's nothing else on, instead of going head-to-head like one did with UFC's pay-per-view. Like, that was dumb.
Yeah, so if you have nothing to watch, 8 o'clock, Real American Freestyle Wrestling. That should be very fun, headlined by Chad Mendez and Michael Chandler. But, kid, that's going to do it. Anything else you want to say? Any last message to the boys before they enter the biggest games of their life?
It's going to be the biggest game of your life. Not many have even the opportunity to even get to that point. So you leave it all on the field, boys. You just give everything you got. And for all the marbles, for all the bragging rights, for the rest of your lives, you'll be able to talk about this moment. So as Tim Tebow said, cliche, 30 minutes for the rest of your lives, 60 minutes for the rest of your lives. Let's go, boys.
It's cliche, but it makes you want to run through a fucking wall. So good luck to all the high schoolers. Joe, enjoy the week. We'll be back next week. We'll break down the pay-per-view, and should be really fun. So enjoy your weekend off. Enjoy Black Friday. Be safe, everyone. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.